have done it the way it is done. It's not like because you did it sitting in your home, then you didn't do it the right way or you didn't do it the standard way. You have done it the way you should have done it. If you were working remotely for Microsoft, if you were working remotely for Intel or whatever company, it is the same thing. So with virtualization, which we are going to do today, we are going to, you already have your host machine and you have an operating system on your host machine. Most of you will have Windows 10 on your host machine. Because you already have an operating system, Windows 10 or Windows 7 or whatever Windows you have on your host, we are going to install another kind of software on top of the operating system. That software on top of the operating system will make it possible for us to now install as many virtual machines as your RAM, your hard disk, and your processor can support. Basically, you should be able to support two. So this software that you place on top of your operating system to make it possible for you to install many virtual machines is called hypervisor. Hypervisor are of two types. We have type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. Type 1 hypervisor, you install it on bare metal. You don't need an operating system. You put it right on the hardware of the computer. That's type 1. They are much more powerful than type 2. But type 2 hypervisor is the one you are going to, because you already have an operating system on top of your hardware, and therefore you are going to put it on your operating system so that you can have many virtual machines. So the type 2 hypervisor we'll be using today is called Oracle VirtualBox. We are going to install Oracle VirtualBox on our machine so that we'll be able to create virtual machines on our host. How many can we create? It depends on how many resources, how much resources you have, and how many virtual machines those resources can support. Am I making sense?
Yeah, sure, you are.
All right. So let's find out that everybody is following, and then we'll move from here. I'll take questions now.
Okay, I have a question. My name is Ilona Adams.
Okay, Ilona.
Good afternoon, sir. Can I ask my question?
Ilona is talking. Ilona Adams is talking.
Okay, the software that we're going to install on our laptop for visualization, is it going to affect our operating system?
First of all, the way Leona Adams put it is very correct. He has used the language well, correctly. So learn from that for the rest of you just coming in. So he's saying the software, the hypervisor that we are going to, however he put it, was perfect. There's no fault there. I'm impressed. Obviously, he already knew this thing before he came in. But I want you all to grow up to become like him in the way you use this language. Yeah. So now, is it going to affect our operating system? No. Is it going to affect our resources? Yes. There's a difference between resources and operating system. Your resources are basically, when we say resources on your laptop, your hard disk, your RAM, and your processor. So is it going to take up space in your hard disk? Yes. Is it going to share the processing power of your system so that your system, instead of focusing on one job, it's now doing several little jobs for so many machines? Yes. Will your RAM space be affected? That's the table where computers work. Yes. So that's why I kept saying, depending on how much RAM. In fact, a few people here will not even be able to do virtualization because their RAM will be so small that the host will not be able to share with the virtual machine. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Next question.
So I do have a question. This is for you.
Okay.
I'd like to understand the word domain.
We're not there yet, Ria. We'll get
Okay.
there. But basically, domain is the name that Windows call their enterprise network. You know, we're talking about networks.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we talked about networks?
Yes, I do.
So within Windows, you could have either work group or domain. So domain simply means is the name that Windows is peculiarly to Windows. Linux and other operating systems don't call it domain. So the name that Windows call a network within an enterprise environment is domain. So while I, as a network engineer, will refer to Zenith Bank network as enterprise network, the Windows engineer configuring the Windows server, will refer to that same network as domain. But we'll create domains. So we'll talk more about them.
Right.
Yes. Who else is there? Questions, please. Yes.
Okay, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Can I refer to VMware ESI to hypervisor software?
It's you are saying is X a hypervisor?
V.
Yeah, come again, Sanusi.
Okay, VMware EXI. Can I refer to them as hypervisor software? I'm asking this question because
yes, they are hypervisor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, EXI. I call it ESXi. Just you and I know.
Exactly.
The rest people don't know. It's a hypervisor. is a type 1 hypervisor.
Great. Okay.
Then VMware is the brand name, the broad name that Windows call their hypervisors, VMware. So they do have one, they have many at the type 1 level and a few or one at the type 2 level. At the type 2 level, the Windows equivalent to Oracle's. Am I losing somebody? Am I sure I'm still carrying people along? Maybe that's too technical for now. Let's leave that. I don't want to scare anybody. Yes, to answer your question, yes, they are hypervisors.
We can get you, sir. Just go ahead.
Okay. All right, sir.
All right. So what I was saying was the Windows equivalent of Oracle's virtual box is the Microsoft equivalent is Microsoft VMware. So the two instances that Abiodun mentioned, yes, they are both hypervisors. One is type 1 hypervisor, the other one is type 2 hypervisor. And let me stretch that a little further. Now, you know what the hypervisor is, Abi, right? Sorry, I'm speaking Nigerian. You are not all Yoruba. Now, you know what? You have an idea what hypervisors are right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone who doesn't understand? Because that's vital for understanding so many others. Okay. Now, it is virtualization that makes cloud possible. Because the whole idea of cloud is that somebody had a laptop and placed hypervisor on the laptop. And then he was now able to create 200, for example, virtual machines. And each virtual machine is an independent computer. And then he thought, what do I do with all these virtual machines? It's so much resource. Okay, Abiodun, this virtual machine that I created, since you do not have enough resources to create your own virtual machine of 8 gig RAM, 1 terabyte hard disk, type 2 processor, I give you this one. Be paying me $50 every month. All you need is just to use anyhow laptop, even if it's a 1 gig RAM laptop, just use it to telnet. That is to log into this your VM, and then you have access to this powerful machine. And then I go to Adams and say, Adams, don't worry about you don't have money to buy laptop. Just get any old-fashioned laptop. This is how to log in, and then log into your virtual machine. And then you can have access to robust server to do all the work that you need. Desi, this is yours. So I just distribute them like that. So that is cloud. But what gave rise to that cloud? It is virtualization, especially when that virtualization is done using type 1 hypervisor. Type 1 hypervisor eliminates the operating system. So the Adams asked earlier on, the resources and the operating system, is it affected? So the effect that, or the space and the limitations that the operating system here would have introduced to these resources is eliminated when I don't even have any operating system here. I just put my hypervisor on it and make